Now, if you're European and you've been on the internet, you probably would have noticed Americans occasionally referring to you as a Europoor. And there is a certain amount of truth in this statement, which is that particularly since 2008, this was highlighted by an interesting Twitter stream by some guy called Ollie the other day that got a bit of traction. But it's since 2008, there's been a real divergence in the economic growth between the United States and Europe, and particularly wage growth between the United States and Europe. And I have a kind of idea as to one of the reasons behind that I haven't really seen mentioned by many people yet. And that is that back in 2008 was when US shale oil really kicked off. Like there was a 71% increase in 2009, and then a 54% increase in 2010. And by I think by 2015 or something, it was sort of half almost of all the natural gas produced in the US. And in the UK in particular, we could potentially, there is some potential shale oil, but we do not, like, there's been a couple of holes drilled, but there's been absolutely no commercial production whatsoever. And of course, this has led to America completely changing its energy security. So US energy net imports peaked in 2008, and they've been falling every year since then. And I think about 99% of their natural gas comes from Canada. So it's a very secure source of energy. And not only this, they've actually been able to export. The exports have risen massively as well. So that's a massive boost to your economy that the Americans had in sort of 2008, but sort of certainly in the UK, and I'm pretty sure in the rest of Europe, we just kind of completely ignored. And now the sort of chickens are coming home to roost, and you can see that obviously in Europe, the electricity prices are way above what they are in the US and also Canada. I mean, you've got the three biggest economies, in fact, the four sort of biggest European economies, UK, Germany, Italy, France, are all at the top of the most expensive electricity markets. And I mean, around 2008, obviously, with the credit crunch, I remember, there was pretty universal agreement that we needed to switch to more manufacturing rather than being so reliant on financial services. Whereas, particularly with the UK, net zero means there will be no manufacturing in this country, not in a serious scale. I mean, if you want to make stuff, you need electricity. The UK, no one's going to be looking to the UK to build their latest aluminium plant. It's not going to happen. So yeah, I've not seen that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other factors involved in it. It's a very complex situation, but I've not seen anyone mention that one. But I do think it definitely played a role. Particularly, with all the exports that you bring in money with, and I know the US obviously has the world's reserve currency, so that obviously helps them, but it's still beneficial, and we don't have that in the UK. So if we had exploited those reserves, it could have, that could have been a lot. It could help your trade intensity or whatever it is they call it. Because actually, with all the excitement, I'll sort of switch more to the UK market situation now. Yeah, with all the excitement around Larry's visit to Keir, one thing that kind of went under the rug was that the PMI, which is the Purchase Managers Index, which is quite an important economic bellwether, if you will, that was down for the first time in 13 months. So that's definitely not good news for the UK economy. I'm just fingers crossed that the Compass Group report is going to be good tomorrow because I've got a bit of money in there, and I did some very bad trading today, and so I'm also stuck in Rentokil, and I kind of wanted to close my positions today, but I'm still open, so I'm hoping for a good day tomorrow, and I'm certainly not convinced. But yeah, I don't know if any of you have any ideas as to why the US has sped ahead of Europe, because it never used to be like this. I can remember when a pound was it was $2 to a pound, and there wasn't this massive gap between the US and Europe, but it certainly has in the last 15 years or so. It's certainly opened up, and I think the fact that the US went down the fracking route and we didn't has played a big role in that. So yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments, and I'll see you later.